Hey everyone, it's Miriam with a Y and Miriam's Nature. I've been messing around for the last couple of days with an idea that's been floating around my head for a few weeks now, so I finally did something about it. If you've been watching my videos, you know the following 3 things about me. 1, I have a love for squeeze bottles of all sizes when doing pours. 2, the idea of wasting paint makes me kooky. And 3, I think that we should be the boss of the paints in a pour and not the other way around. So this technique satisfies all 3 things. One of the reasons I love squeeze bottles, which I affectionately call squeezy bottles by the way, is that after I mix paint and I put them in the bottles, I can easily squeeze out what I need and save what I don't for future pours. Another reason I love them is that I get to be very specific and selective about where I add color to a canvas, which is right up my be the boss of your paints alley. So I have wondered and wondered what would happen if I put a pour in a squeeze bottle. Not just one color, but the whole pour. What if I built a dirty pour in a squeezy bottle? Well, let me show you what happens and what you can do with it. When choosing which style of bottle I wanted to use for this, I opted for this one because this kind, the cap only fits the tip. So if you cut lower on the tube, you won't be able to cap it anymore. And if you want to be able to keep paint overnight or for a couple of days, you want to be able to cap it. And this type, the cap fits over the entire cone. So when I cut the cone down all the way here, the cap will still fit and still protect the paint. So I opted for this. The first thing I did was cut the applicator region of the bottle fairly low so that I have a wider opening. For this, you don't want that little narrow opening. You want as wide a mouth as you can handle and still not have things pour out of the bottle when you tip the bottle over. So now I'm going to build the pour. And I've set up a mirror here so that you can just see the paints going into the bottle. I know some of you sometimes ask what paints I use and the colors and all that. Don't worry about that so much for this video. This is more about the technique. Any paints are going to work, any colors, so don't worry about that part. So I'm going to use squeezy bottles to fill the squeezy bottle. And I will start with some white. And I'm pushing the squeeze tip further in. I don't really want the pour to be one of those, like you pour high up and let the paint hit. I kind of want the paints to be as layered in the bottle as possible. I'm going to add another color just for fun after some white. And I think you get the idea. So I'm just going to finish up the rest and not bore you with every little drop of paint going into the bottle. Okay, so the pour is all filled now. The bottle is completely filled with the pour. Let me show you. So up to the tippy top. And I am going to put the cap back on that had the applicator tip cut. I'm working on a smallish 5x7 canvas panel, and I'm going to spread some white paint. And then I spread the white paint over the entire canvas panel. I think almost all the colors have silicone except for the white. And I am now going to just flip the bottle over. Now, because it's a squeeze bottle, the bottle's upside down, but the paint's not running, is not going to fall out until I squeeze the bottle. It'll run all the way to the tip. Like, there's paint literally hanging at the tip, but it's not going to fall out until I squeeze the bottle. And then now, I'm just going to decide where I want to start squeezing the bottle. And I can move the paint. I can do a drag through the paint if I want. Like that. And I can stop. That's the beauty of this. I can stop. I've only used like one little pass. And I can just sit here and look at it and decide, well, this is very pretty. Maybe that's all I want to do. And I can watch that grow and wait for that to settle. Or I can decide that I want to add another pass. And let that sit and do its thing. And again, this is still in the bottle, and my hands are totally clean. I'm not even wearing gloves. I haven't worn gloves for this whole process because I haven't needed to. So that's what happens if I drag the paint. Now, if I don't drag the paint and I lift the bottle up off the canvas and just squeeze, it's a different kind of effect because then the paint lands thicker and will probably spread more. And I can add a dot of paint if I want, or draw a dotted line. I mean, I can do anything. It's almost like you can draw with this. Let me zoom you in on that so that you can see. That is one option for this. I'm going to show you something else you can do. Okay, I wiped off the 3 little dots that I put around here just so I have more canvas to work on. And I'm going to fill this area back in with white. And what I'm going to do now, let me move this aside just to show you, is I'm going to take off this cap and set it down in a lid so I don't make a mess. So I've set that lid, that cap aside, and I have another one of the same caps. And this time I left a smaller tip on the end. I didn't cut it all the way down here, so I don't have a wide opening. And I'm going to put this on the same bottle. The bottle is still, more than half full. And I am putting this new cap on the bottle, same bottle. And now I have a smaller tip, so I'm going to let the paint run down to it. You can see how that happens. It just runs down the tip. And now, once that is ready, I can now make finer lines if I want. And in theory, you could go with an even finer point, but the finer the point is, the more the paint gets blended in this section, so you have less, your cells are going to be smaller, so if cell size and all that is important to you, this may not be the way you want to go, but let me show you how that works. So now I can make thinner lines. So you could draw with this in a way that is harder to do out of a cup. And this will sell up some, so I'll wait and show you that. The cells here are very small and less pronounced. You get pretty striping at this when you use a tip this small. But it's really a cool thing to use if you're going to make ribbons in your paintings. I'm not a ribbon person myself, but if you are, this is such a cool way to make ribbons because your ribbons can be very controlled and striped and You can have different bottles with different colors for your different ribbons. It's like the possibilities are just so crazy endless. Before I move on to the next thing, I just want to show you how after all this, that's the only paint that got spilled, and the only reason that did was because I wasn't paying close enough attention here, and when I tilted here, a drop fell off the edge. But if that hadn't happened, there would have been zero paint on on my table. So there's no paint to clean up, and no paint is getting wasted. Okay, so I've pushed the first canvas out of the way, and I've replaced it with a 4-inch ceramic tile. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off that cap, the pointier cap, and put back the one that we had started out with, the shorter one. Putting that back on the bottle. And because I still have at least half the bottle of paint left. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do Rita Carip's swirl technique with the paint that's left in the bottle. Now, there's silicone in this paint, so I'm going to have cells, which you might not want in a swirl, but again, this is more to show you what could be done. So this is the paint that was still at the bottom of the bottle. And I think I'm going to stop there because otherwise it's going to take over the entire... Oh yeah, that's that pink that I threw in there for fun. I forgot all about that. And I'm going to move that around just like you would any swirl. And all of that came out of this bottle, same bottle. Haven't done anything, and there's still paint left in here. And I'm going to pour it out here just so that you can, ooh, I love that blue. Just so that you can see what was still left at the bottom of the bottle. This is like my favorite blue ever. It's Artist Loft Brilliant Blue. Ugh, it's just glorious. All right, I'm putting way more paint that needs to be on this little tile, but there's still viable pore left in this, and I still have, I'm gonna guess, I can't see because it's blocked by paint. It feels like there's probably about this much left in the bottle. And the other thing, like let's say you only have half a bottle left of pore. You can add to it and keep going. So if I decided that I still wanted to keep painting, I could continue to add paint to this bottle and keep pouring away. Oh, this is actually turning out to be kind of weirdly cool. I was just doing it quickly to show you, but I may have to keep that. Okay, I couldn't help myself. I started playing with this and started tilting, and this was not the plan, but it's turning out so pretty that I kind of had to show you this too. Okay, this was just to show you what you could do, but it's kind of pretty. So usually the things I do on a 4-inch tile are more just testers, and I had no intention of tilting, so now look at my hands. But I kind of love that. Okay, but there's still one more thing I want to tell you about this. So I'm going to clean up and show you the last thing. Okay, please excuse the paint that's still on my hands. I just did a quick wipe down. Before I show you the last pour, I want to show you how you clean your bottles. And for that, all you need is a little bit of water, and when your bottle's empty, just turn it upside down, squeeze as much air as you can out so that you cause suction to happen, and water will now be sucked into the bottle, and then just put your finger over the hole and shake vigorously. And squeeze out what you have. And do it again. So keep doing that and squeezing the bottle in and out, so that water comes rushing in and out of the applicator part, and you'll clean that area out. And if you hadn't swapped out the cap, this would be clean, but if you have swapped out the cap once or twice, you'll need to sort of wipe this down too, and the inside there a little bit, or just let it sit in the water. And remember, don't throw this water down your sink, because that's not good for your pipes. Okay, now let me show you the very last thing. Now, just as an experiment, I prepared a pour in this little squeezy bottle 24 hours ago, and I left it in here. So I prepared a dirty pour, layered a bunch of colors one by one, and just let it sit to see what would happen. And now I'm going to pour it and see if it's still viable. So far, so good. Nice and brilliant. Oh, and there are lovely cells happening. So I'm going to stop there and introduce little specks of white, just so that when I go to tilt this, white will appear. Okay, now I'm going to start tilting. I can't get over that this pour sat there for literally 24 hours and the paints did not blend. They just sat there layered just the way they were, apparently. I still have some in the bottle, so now that I've moved stuff around and I need some left, I can still come in now and fill in areas that need it. And then when I see the different color coming out, like it's a lighter color here, I might decide that I want a little bit of it in an area that doesn't have any. I mean, it's like a wonderful, controlled pour. And I can stop at any time just by not squeezing the bottle anymore. And I can really be very specific about how much I'm putting and where. I love this. I'm going to tilt a little again, just to make what I added fit in. And there are little spots here that could use a little more, and I still have some left. And I think I'm going to be done. I am in love with this, and I hope that you guys give it a try. It is so easy and so versatile. Alrighty, that's my crazy technique. I have no idea what to call it. In my head, I've been calling it the squeezy pour, or pour in a bottle, but I'd really like to hear your suggestions. I hope this gives you a ton of ideas. I haven't tried this in a big bottle yet, but if any of you do, leave a comment. And if you make a video, please let me know, because I would love to see how you adapt this for your pours. If you found this interesting or helpful, leave me a thumbs up. They encourage me to keep making videos whenever I can. Please share this with your friends and groups. Subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. And as always, thank you for watching and for all your wonderful support. Go be creative now, maybe even with a squeezy bottle. And see you next time. Bye now.